Everyone. Okay, so this is one of my old videos from my old channel back whenever I was still uncomfortable speaking on camera. Fortunately, at this point, I did learn from the comments not to put music. So there is no music in this video, but I am kind of stumbling over my words a little bit. I'm a little awkward verbally on camera because I still was at this point, but this is one of my old, back when I was new to YouTube videos. So I thank you so much for your patience with me on this one. Thank you so much for understanding. And if you are new to my channel, you're just seeing this video for the first time, I typically do just vintage and antique crochet. I am consolidating my old channel over to this one because I don't want to manage that channel anymore. I just want to be done with it, move on with life. And so I'm going to have my vintage videos, predominantly my vintage videos on here with a small handful of my old videos on here. Thank you so much for understanding and enjoy the video, but more importantly, enjoy that poncho. I get compliments on it every time I wear it. Okay, so for this poncho, you're going to need 2 different colors of the Lion Brand's jeans yarn. You know that Lion Brand denim is available anymore. You could find some overstock on eBay, Etsy, or Amazon. It's likely going to be overpriced, but Lion Brand makes Heartland, and it looks almost just like the denim. I say almost because this isn't quite stone wash, but it's the same color. It is meant to look like denim. It just doesn't have that stone wash look. And they do have this in a darker blue as well to look like the darker denim. So you can find that as a substitute. I will leave a link for those down below. I found those at Joann, and Joann's is no more, but surely Lion Brand is selling at more places than just Joann's. So I will leave a link to the most affordable ones that I can find through Google. So clearly nothing is affiliated. Okay, here's the rest of the video. And some of these denim buttons, I'm going to leave links down below for where you can get everything. I got these buttons for, I think, $5 or even $6 on Amazon. Really, really affordable. And an 5.5 millimeter hook for the entire project. Now, you're going to need only one skein of the, they call this one Classic. This is the darker color. And you're going to need, for small, medium, large, you're going to need 4 of, well, actually, no. For small and medium, you'll need 4 of these. For large and extra large, you'll need 5 of the Stonewash color. And of course, like I said before, I'm going to leave links for everything in the description box down below. These are really, really nice. They're very, very lightweight. You can hear how hollow they are. And of course, they're going to be completely non-functional. They're just going to be for looks. Here are the numbers you're going to need. I already worked my chain. Of course, as you guys know, I make everything to fit my mannequin. So this, I chained 212. Hello. Okay, so I am editing this video right now. There we are. And I just need to insert right here at this point. I tell you how many chains to work for size small or medium. Disregard that. This will work for size large too. I am a size large, and I actively wear the exact poncho that I'm going to make in this video. In fact, I'm also currently making another one right here. I'm making it a little more earth tone, and I'm using that yarn substitute that I told you about. It is also by Lion Brand, but it's called Heartland. And disregard the sizing that I tell you here, because this one that I say I make them to fit my mannequin, which used to be true, this will fit you if you are a size large. I am about 165 pounds. I am a US size 14 in jeans. I am 5'5", if that gives you any reference to yourself. And I absolutely wear a size large, extra large, depending on the brand. We all know how that goes. Typically, Walmart has me in a large, and anything fancier than that has me in an extra large. Okay, that's all. For a size small, medium. Now, if you need a size large, that would be the size that would actually fit me. You chain 220, and if you need an extra large, chain 227. So I already chained my 212. That way I can just jump right into showing you guys the first 2 rows, because the first 2 rows are going to be a completely different stitch from the rest of the poncho. Reasoning is the brass denim buttons that I showed you, those are going to need, as you saw, they screw on the back. Those are going to need something of some kind of substance to hold on to, and we're going to do the first 2 rows in link double crochet because that's a nice tight weave stitch. Then the rest of the poncho will be in a different stitch. So go ahead and chain your, for small medium, 200.
Where I said chain 212 for small medium. Again, that will fit a large, but if you do want a little bit more of a relaxed fit on the shoulder, because mine does ride up a little high on me, so if you want it to come down a little lower on both shoulders, which is a look, then go with the 220 for large. And if you need extra large, follow the extra large chain count that I did give in the video.
12 for large, chain 220, and for extra large, chain 227. Go ahead and pause this video and come back whenever you're ready to start row 1. Okay, now that you are ready to start row 1, the last 2 chains are not going to count as a stitch. This is for link double crochet. We use these 2 chains as a builder to our first stitch, which will actually start in chain 3. I highly recommend that you work in the back bumps with link double crochet. It's just so much easier. Okay, let me get you a little bit closer. And I know this yarn is kind of dark, so let me get a little light on here for you so you can see the details of what we're going to do. So you're going to skip your very first chain, and in your second chain down, go ahead, go into the chain and pull up a loop and then stop. Now the next chain over, which is your third chain down, go in, pull up a loop, and then like a regular double crochet, go ahead and pull through 2 and pull through 2. Now on the side of this stitch, we have got 3 bars right here. This top bar is the top of our stitch. So we're not going to work in the top bar. We're going to work in the next bar down, the middle bar. We also ignore the very bottom. So we're working in this bar right here. So what you will now do is going into this second bar, pull up a loop and stop. Now go into the next chain over, or I highly recommend the next back bump over. Go in and pull up a loop. Now like a regular double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we have our sidebar right here. Here is the top of the stitch again. Here is the second bar down that we need, and then the third bar down that you will see, but we just need the second bar down. You will go in, pull up a loop, go to the next chain or back bump over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and there is, I know it's dark, I am so sorry. Top bar we ignore, and there is my second bar down. Of course, we are working on the sides of the stitch. Pull up a loop and stop. Now we come over here to the next chain over, pull up a loop and complete the double crochet. And there is my sidebar, the second one down that I need. Go in, pull up a loop, next back bump over or chain, pull up a loop, complete the double crochet. And now we can see how this is creating a line down here. This line, use it as a guide. It will always lead you, boom, right into your next sidebar that you need to work into. See these little sidebars here that we're creating? It always leads you right into the next sidebar that you're going to need. Here you go. Pull up a loop. Next back bump or chain over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2. Complete this all the way to the end. And then I will show you how we move up to row 2. And we're only going to do this for the first 2 rows. I do find that with row 1 on any link double crochet that I'm working with, not any link double crochet, but any project where I'm using link double crochet as my first row, it's always easier to work the stitches with your work going up and down like this instead of like this. It's easier. The second row works like regular. And what I mean by that is, let me get this because I messed up a little bit there. What I mean by regular is row 2, you'll be able to work like this, side to side instead of up and down. Again, I thoroughly apologize for how dark this must be for you guys. I would recommend maybe turning the brightness on your computer up just for this portion. I keep my brightness at about 75 to 70. But I would recommend turning your brightness up to see if that helps you see what we're doing here. After that, after we work with this, we will be working with this much easier color to see and a much easier and more familiar stitch. I just wanted to work this a little bit more with you guys so you can see the process. And you see how I'm working it up and down like this, just because these sidebars are easier to get into like this. Then you just kind of come over here and grab your next chain or back bump over and complete your stitch. Then you can go right into the next sidebar. And after working just a few of these stitches, you can see that sidebar so easily. And it really does kind of protrude out and present itself. It's just right there, bam. Even with dark yarn, you'll be able to see it. So I hope you can see this. So let's work this all the way to the end of the chain. Row 2 will not only go faster because we'll be working in actual stitches, but you'll have the link double crochet pretty much down pat. And then after that, we'll be working a much easier, more familiar stitch. So we'll be able to burn through this pattern much, much faster than we're going to get through row 1. So yes, row 1 will take you a pretty minute. I'll be back when I get to the end of row 1. Okay, I just have 1 stitch left. Then I will show you how we work our way up to row 2. And if you hear some noise in the background, my dryer is now rolling in and tumbling. Okay, to move up to row 2, you will chain 2. This chain 2 does not count as a stitch. You turn your work, and right here, the first chain that we made, right down here, the front loop only. Lord, I'm gonna have to check that dryer. Sounds like there's a belt or something in there. So the first chain that we made, we want the front loop only of that chain. Okay, that's what we're going to work into. So you're going to come from behind, punch up into that front loop only of that first chain and pull up a loop. That acts as our sidebar. Now into the very first stitch, because we're not going to skip any stitches, you work your first link double crochet. There you go. And there is the sidebar right there that you're going to need to work into. Now this row is going to go by much easier and faster. Go into the next stitch, got tongue-tied there. And there is my sidebar right there. Next stitch over. There is my sidebar. Next stitch over. See, this is much faster, much easier. There's the sidebar. Next stitch over. There's the sidebar. And again, of course, you guys know this by now after doing this 200 times. Just use the line that we're creating down here to lead you right into your next little sidebar. Right there. They're almost touching. If you look, this line here touches onto the next sidebar you need to work into. They touch. So it makes it a lot easier to find it. But I think after 200 stitches, you guys got it by now. But yeah, this second row is going to go by much, 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 much easier. And then when we get into row 3 will be the 1 row repeat for the remainder of the poncho-ish, because we're going to do this dark at the bottom as well. Okay, I will be back when I get to the end of this row. Look how much faster it is. Just so much easier whenever you have an actual stitch to work into. Oh, there we go. Okay, guys, I'll see you at the end of this row. So I have worked my last link double crochet. Now we're not going to cut this color, as we are going to create a border that pretty much goes all around the entire poncho to create a sort of a mock faded denim look. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but if you like the way it looked from what you saw before, then this is what we're going to do. So now on to the easier stitches. You're going to chain 1, and we're going to keep the same hook. Work a 3 half double crochet in the first 3 double crochet. So we're not going to skip the first stitch. Right in the first stitch, work a half double crochet, and in the next 2 stitches, each one gets a half double crochet, except we're going to switch colors in the third one. So there is number 2. Now number 3, yarn over, go into the stitch and pull up a loop and stop. Pull your working yarn forward and hold it and keep it there. That will make it easier to retrieve on the next pass over. Grab your new color and complete your half double crochet with the new color. Now remember to keep this dark blue working yarn forward. Let me get a little bit more of a tail here. Then just yarn over, and in the very next stitch, work half double crochet. And work 1 half double crochet in every stitch until you have 4 stitches left. Once you have 4 stitches left on the other end, I'll go ahead and mark it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So come back. Ooh, if I can get my stitch marker in there, the yarn just keeps on splitting. Well, it'll have to split. I don't like that though. It's like pulling up on it. There we go. It was like causing a little fuzzball. Okay. When you have 4 stitches left, stop and come back, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. And this will be the 1 row repeat. Okay. Okay, so I have made it to my stitch marker. I now have 4 stitches left. I want the last 3 to be this dark color. So here we go. Here's how we do that. First of all, I grabbed my other ball of the exact same original color in the jeans yarn. So now I'm going to be using 2 skeins of this at the same time, 1 on each end. Okay, yarn over, go into the 4th stitch and pull up a loop, stop. Pull your working yarn forward, grab the new color. Should have had that ready. There we go. Grab the new color and attach it, and just like we did before, complete your half double crochet with the new color. Make sure that you leave the light color or your working yarn forward toward you. You'll see why in a minute if you're not super familiar with tapestry crochet. Now yarn over and work 3 half double crochets in the darker yarn. Sorry, I should have had that yarn ready to go. Chain 1, turn, work in the first 2 stitches a half double crochet, and then in the 3rd, yarn over and start your half double crochet in the dark, pull your dark yarn forward and hold it there. Now from behind, you can grab your light colored yarn. Make sure that you keep this one pulled forward. Just reach over with your hook and complete that half double crochet. Now yarn over and into the very first of your light denim colored stitches, start working your half double crochets. See how keeping the yarn towards you of the color that you're changing out from. Now, whenever we come back this way, this dark yarn will be ready to just grab and introduce, and look at the clean line it creates. So that's why it's important to keep this on this side. That way, when you come back around, it'll be on the back side of your work and you can just pull it forward and start working with it. No problem. It's there, ready to go. So this is the 1 row repeat. You're going to work 3 stitches on the beginning and the end of every row with your darker denim color, and the remaining stitches in the middle will be the lighter denim color. Now, how many rows? For the small medium, you're going to work 45 rows of half double crochet. So not 45 rows total, including these. No, we're not counting these. 45 of the half double crochet. Right now I'm on row 2. So there you go. I'm on row 2 of my half double crochet rows. For large, it will be 48 half double crochet rows. And for extra large, it will be 53 half double crochet rows. Bear in mind, we're going to add a couple of extra rows at the end of this, likely not in half double crochet. So I don't know why I say things like that. Not in half double crochet. So we are going to add a couple 3 more rows at the bottom of the dark. Okay, I will see you guys when you get down to the bottom. Work my last 3 half double crochet of row 45. That is row 45 of the half double crochet rows. There we go. We are done with stone wash, so we can cut. I already cut the other end off. All right, now all we have is the darker denim color attached. So our last 2 rows are going to be just like our first 2 rows. 2 rows of half double crochet. No, 2 rows of linked double crochet. So we will chain 2 and turn, and I'm going to weave my tail in as we go. And just like we did before, come around the back of the very first chain we made, the front loop only of that chain. We pull up a loop and stop. Now in the very first stitch, we pull up a loop and complete our double crochet. And right here is my side bar. Pull up a loop, next stitch over, pull up a loop and work my double crochet. There is my sidebar right here. Pull up a loop, next stitch over. I'm going to go ahead and include my tail. Nope. Sidebar, next stitch over, including my tail in that, and there we go. We're going to do 2 rows of the linked double crochet, and then that's it. When you're done with your last 2 rows of linked double crochet, come on back. We will add the buttons and we'll do the fringe. Okay, so I'm a big fat liar because we do have one more quick row to get through. You'll notice that the bottom is curling because of the type of stitch we're using. So we do need to do 1 row of single crochet across back this way, and that'll pull this row straight out. And it genuinely won't make it appear any bigger than the first one because it already seems smaller. Here's the first section that we made. This actually seems smaller because of that curl. So sorry about that. So let's do 1 row of single crochet and then we'll be ready to do buttons. So we'll chain 1, and in the very, very first stitch, just work a single crochet and work 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way to the end, and then you can cut and weave in your end. And there we go. See there? Okay, I'll meet you guys at the other end, then we'll get started on buttons, the fun stuff. Okay, now where are we going to put the buttons now that we are all done with everything else? That's going to be up to the tape measure. So you'll want to fold. Here is the back end. Fold it perfectly in half and hold it up to you or wrap it around you. How much of your shoulder do you want to show on one side? Your shoulder will not be showing on this side, the folded side. But your shoulder, if you want your shoulder, which I would recommend, how much of your shoulder do you want to stick out? Excuse me. So I already wrapped this around my mannequin, and I found this to be the perfect placement with this much hanging off the edge. I lined them up perfectly and put in my stitch marker. Let's see how many inches this is going to be for small medium. We are 15 inches from the closure to the edge, and from the fold, 15.5 inches from the fold to the stitch marker. Or is it 15? 15, okay, 15 inches. So 15 inches and 15 inches. So you just figure out for large and extra large, how much of your shoulder do you want hanging out? Where exactly do you want the closure to be? Just hold on to that and then stick a stitch marker in and then line the edges up perfectly and adjust your stitch markers so that you're matched up stitch for stitch. Okay. Now, because there is no right side or wrong side of this, we're just going to go ahead and treat this like it is the wrong side out. So before we put our buttons on, we will be flipping this around to hide our stitching. Okay. You'll want your stitch marker on this side of you so that we can work this way. Go ahead and go into your stitches. And however many stitches we're going to work, it also depends on you. It just depends on how closed do you want this portion of your poncho. I like it to be a bit open from around the elbow down. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to work just a single crochet seam, stitch for stitch through both loops of both sides. So let me get you in here. And both loops, well, let's just go into the stitch we first slip stitched or joined into. Both loops and both loops. And I'm going to include my tail, work a single crochet. And again, both loops on this side and both loops on this side. Make sure my tail is in there. And so there we go. I'm going to work this for a total of 20 stitches. I already have 4 worked. So this will make 5. I will do 15 more stitches after this. And that'll be enough for me. I'll see you when I get to the end of my 20 stitches total. Okay, I have finished sewing my shoulder portion. Here, let me back it out a little bit. I finished sewing my shoulder portion. Let's see, how many inches did I wind up sewing of that? That was, well, 5.25 inches, or you could just say 5 inches. It's close enough. 5 inches. So let's put some buttons on. Okay. So you will grab a button. And again, these are non-functional, so we're not actually going to go through both sides. We're just going to have them on the front side, and then we're going to put them on the inner back panel here so that it looks like they're ready to go. You know what I mean? So you'll put it, here is the fold right here. So you'll put your first one right there. Just kind of mash it in there. And this is why I wanted to use this tighter weave stitch. because it'll allow these to be more secure, or allow us to attach them more securely, I should say. English is not my strong suit tonight. Get that on there. Screw it in. There we go. There is the first one. Now let's do another one. And I'm putting them kind of close to the line here. That way, whenever you wear it, just act like my arm is a shoulder. It still shows forward, you know, where you can actually see it. Then we'll put the next one. I'm not really measuring it. I suppose I should. About that far down. So what does that far mean? What does that far translate into here? Got to try to be a little bit professional here. Let's move this over just a pinch so that we have enough room for a third one here. And see, they're about 1.5 inches apart. Yep, 1.5 inches apart. Okay, I'm going to get these two on here, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. See here, this one looks a little bit further out, so I'm going to reposition this one. Just come over a little bit. That looks better. Right there. And it really is mostly just a matter of eyeballing it. You know, you'll do this to your own taste. I think that's tilted a little. There we go. Make sure that you secure them on very tight. Okay. Now we have these ones, but we want to make it look like there are more ready to be buttoned. So open up your front flap and finish putting some on the back flap like this. About that far apart. And then one on the end. So I'll be putting four more on there like that. Okay, I'll be back whenever I have these on. Come up just a pinch higher. Those are a little low. Here we go. I'll be back whenever I get these on. Okay, so I wound up going with just 3 because I felt like 4, I feel like 4 looked a little bit crowded. I feel like it looks a little bit nicer, a little bit more put together with just the 3. Here's how it would have looked with 4. I felt like that was too much. It was just too much. So I went with 3. You can do whatever you want. Now let's do the fringe. Okay, so fringe is going to be super easy. So I have this book here, and let me see the measurements of it for you. The book measures about 9.5 inches roughly. I mean, it's just slightly under 9.5 inches. So try to look for a book that's about this big, and it's about 1 inch in thickness. Okay, you don't want a real thick book like this because that's going to make your tassels even longer. So you're going to want to do a little of each color. We're going to alternate. So you will simply take your yarn. Let me see if I can back this out a little. As far as I can go. I bet I can raise it. No. Okay. Bear with me. Start down here at the bottom. What I typically like to do is just to open the book. Put that in there like that. Well, if it will stay. Okay, stay you. And there we go. And you'll just start wrapping it around. These are going to be some fairly long tassels, but that's part of the design. And you'll just do this a lot because we want, well, every stitch down here is going to get a tassel, so we're not skipping any of the stitches. So basically, we know we got to do like 200 tassels essentially, or whichever size you wound up going with. So just keep on wrapping and then do this again with the stone wash. Get your tassels all cut, ready to go. I'll show you what to do next. You'll just keep on wrapping and wrapping and wrapping and wrapping, and that's enough for now. So what you'll do is come up to the top here and just cut. There we go. And then that is the length of the tassels. So if you wish to do this without the book, it would seem I had a knot in that one. Let me just measure one of these tassels for you so that you know how long to make it if you're going to do it freehand, which is a way I also can do sometimes. Don't always feel like getting up and getting a book. That's out of just pure laziness on my part. So we are working with 20-inch tassels here, right there. Okay, but folded in half, they will be 10-inch, hanging off the bottom of our poncho. So make up a bunch of these. I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so we are going to come down here to the bottom front corner, and we're going to start at the front corner and just work our way all the way around to the back corner. So I like to start with the dark one first. Just fold it in half, grab your crochet hook, come into your very first single crochet down here at the bottom, pull through, yarn over, pull through your loop, and that's it. Now the very next single crochet over, we do that again. Pull through. Try to even that out a little bit. There we go. And pull through. Every single stitch is going to get a piece of tassel or fringe. So just grab more colors or more strings. Sorry. It is 2 in the morning. I had my sleep schedule so like down pat. And then just slowly, day after day, another hour closer to midnight, then another hour after midnight. I'm going to go to bed after this, though. Okay. And then the next stitch over. And you just do this. Now, what I intend to do for the next probably hour, because this will likely take me about an hour. I'm about to watch a Golden Girls deal. I'm gonna watch some Golden Girls, and I'm going to work these tassels in, and then I will show you how it looks on the mannequin. I'll be back in a little bit.